All right. All right, guys, welcome. We're still waiting for a few more people to join, but we will get started. And the first thing that I want to mention is a disclaimer, and that is we are not financial advisors. This was not set up as a financial vehicle, and we're not giving investment advice. So we just want to let you guys know that in the beginning because we are talking about an NFT project. So that's an important thing to mention. And yeah, my name's Jana. A lot of people might know me here as the Wine Girl on social media. And I'm here tonight with Daniel and JD Farias. And they are both NFT strategists. So I will let them introduce themselves.
Perfect. Well, hello, I'm Daniel. He is my brother, JD. I think that I'm going to do the introduction for both because we have a similar way. We study finance in Houston. We got our BBA. Then we moved to Mexico and started working with venture capital with a fintech. Then we start hearing in the past, we hear about crypto in 2011. We started investing in 2014. And in 2017 and 2020, we start hearing about NFT. We saw how the blockchain technology can be more mainstream with the utility that NFT provide. So we start investing in big projects at that moment. That was CryptoPunks, BeFriends, Bored Apes. And after that opportunity, we realized that we need to launch our project. We create our own project that is called the Kame Monster Club. And we have sold the 75% until this day. And and we start working with, I started working with dVIN as an advisor in the NFT market. And I don't know if you want to add something else, JD.
No, that was a pretty good intro.
But I love you guys just casually throw in Bored Apes like it's nothing. But
Now, and Jana, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So again, my name is Jana. I am a WSET diploma holder, so certified in wine. And I'm pretty active on social media. So some of you might know me as the Wine Girl. And yeah, social media just opened a lot of doors for me in the wine world that I guess I never would have even imagined would be open, including this project Club dVIN. But some of the other interesting projects that I've been working on, for example, I helped promote an event in Mauritius for La Palais, which is a very well-known Burgundian harvest celebration that actually comes from Meursault in Burgundy, but now they celebrate it in LA and New York and Mauritius. So yeah, I've had the privilege of traveling the world with some of the top winemakers, Rene Barbier Jr. from Priorat, Sarah Perez as well from Priorat. Egon Muller was also there, which was so cool because I live in Germany and he's a very, very famous German winemaker. So that's just some of the things that I do. Traveling and storytelling for industry brands is one thing. Always learning as I go. And I recently filmed a show with one of the industry's best, Aldo Somm. He was the world's best sommelier in 2008. And we just filmed a mini series, a mini wine documentary in Austria. So the English version is still in production, but the German version was released in Austria in autumn last year. So we're just waiting for that to make its way around the world, hopefully. Let's see. And yeah, I also do some judging for international wine competitions and things like that. All of a sudden, here I am in the world of crypto and NFTs. How did this happen? Club dVIN, very exciting and a big learning curve. So I'm really, really enjoying it. But yeah, I'm a founding member of Club dVIN, so that's really cool. And I'm excited to be able to talk about that with you guys. So yeah. But I'll actually just go in with the first question to the guys, because you're both Bored Apes. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to be on this call that don't know. So a lot of people don't know what an NFT is, first of all. I put some polls up on Instagram today and asked just to try and gauge my audience and find out like, okay, are you interested in crypto? Are you only a wine person? Are you both? Just trying to kind of figure out what everybody is into and actually interested in. A lot of people didn't know what an NFT is, so they won't know what a Bored Ape is. What's that all about, and why is that such a successful NFT project?
Okay, let's start by explaining what an NFT is then.
Yes, good idea.
That's a good start. So yeah, I'm gonna take this one, Daniel, if you want to complement after. Okay, so an NFT, it's a non-fungible token. I'm not going to explain what that means at this moment. I think the easiest way to explain NFTs, it's looking at it at this way. An NFT has three components, okay? First, it's a digital asset. That means that it could be a photo, it could be a video, it could be whatever lives in your computer or in your cell phone. Second of all, there's a blockchain. The blockchain sounds really scary, but it's not. It's just a decentralized database that allows you to record transactions and information. And the coolest part is that it's unhackable. So it's pretty secure, and it allows people to interact with each other without an intermediary. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry for my English. It's a little rusty, but I'll continue. And the last thing that creates an NFT, it's a smart contract. That this contract, it serves three functions. The first, it's that it's a certificate that it gives authenticity to the asset. It works like in the real world. When you buy a painting and they give you like a certificate in the gallery, it's the same function.
Like a deed of ownership, right?
Exactly. Second of all, there's the ownership, authenticity. Thank you. That worked pretty well. And third of all, it allows you to sell that asset. So putting it in a simple way, an NFT, it's a digital asset that has this smart contract behind it. So it becomes something that you can trade in an open market. I don't know if you want to add something, Daniel?
Yeah.
No, I think that I can continue with the Bored Apes. That I think that is the most sound project in the NFT space. This basically was launched in 2021. It is a collection of 10,000 unique NFTs that basically had a lot of success because of the community that they have right now. I was talking to Jana and JD early in the morning, and I was telling them experience that we had about that 2 weeks ago, that someone was trying to buy our ape. And basically, when I realized like the social media of this person, he was family of the ruler of Dubai and the vice president of the Emirates. So I think that is how I can describe success in the Bored Ape community. That is all about the people that is inside the project, that they are trying to add value. These are really interesting people. So basically, that's what is Bored Apes is all about.
So I think a big part of then creating a good NFT community or a valuable NFT community then is having people in that community that create value, right? Like, doesn't Snoop have a Bored Ape? He probably has more than one Bored Ape.
Yes, with Jimmy Fallon, Neymar.
Right.
Yeah, like what they did, they created like a social club. Their main focus was to create a structure for networking inside the industry. But nowadays it grew so much that even people from pop culture are coming in. And that's the cool thing about NFTs. I know that it's not as easy to understand, but it's something like the internet. You don't need to understand how it works to use it. We're going to be using NFTs every day in a few years, and we won't even realize it. So
yes. And that's, we're going to get, so at the moment we're talking about other NFTs and other NFT projects, and we're going to get to explaining Club dVIN, the project that we're really here to talk about. But I think that's a really interesting thing that you say, because one of the things that I think deters people from really like reading into this project that we're starting is that people think they have to really understand crypto and NFTs, and you don't. So you can, it's like an enabler. The technology is an enabler for the project, right? Like you can use it as much as you want, but it can also be invisible for you if you want it to be, right? Like this is just the technology behind it that authenticates everything. And I think that's really interesting. And we're going to see it in the future, like you say, and we're not even going to notice. So, okay. So I just want to say one more thing when you were talking about NFT, because you said non-fungible token. And I think the best way to explain that, I heard this on a podcast, I think from the Proof Collective, is like, so dollar bills are fungible, So if you have like two $5 bills and you like switch them back and forth, it doesn't matter. They're both the same, right? You can take them to the shop and buy something with either. But an NFT is non-fungible, which means that it's actually unique. So those two things are not the same, and they're authenticated and verified to not be the same. And that's the difference, that every NFT is unique. So that's just an important thing to know. Yeah. And that NFTs live on the blockchain is also, important. So cool. Then,
so now, Jana,
yeah.
what is dVIN? Can you explain what is dVIN about?
Oh man, yeah. I would love to. And it's so funny because I've been like, I explain this to my friends all the time. And tonight I was like, where do I even start? The project is it's like an onion. There's so many layers. It's so complex and it's amazing. But basically, if you just take it down to the roots, it's a wine club. So it's a really premier wine club. It's the world's premier NFT wine club. And basically access is limited, right? So we're leading up to our first waitlist sale, which is going to happen actually in 7 days. It's happening on April 2nd. So yeah, very soon, next week. And that's going to be the first time that we actually allow people to buy memberships for the club. And the membership sale is private. It's friends and family only, so invite only. And there's going to be 1,000 membership NFTs sold on that day for a 50% discount. So it's invite only. If you're interested, you have to DM us. And if we have codes, we'll give them out. But yes, so basically it's a wine club that gives you access to some of the most incredible wine and gastronomy experiences on earth. So it might sound like, yeah, okay, cool, like great wine experiences, whatever, but like, no, we're talking about actually like the craziest experiences. Some of the things that we're doing, for example, we're involved in an event coming up in middle of May. We're not allowed to say too much about it, so I don't want to like get in trouble, but it's going to be connected to Robert Parker and the most expensive bottle of wine ever sold on earth. It's a sold out event happening in Hollywood, and dVIN is involved. So that's going to be one of our big starter events. We're also doing really interesting pop-up experiences around the world right now. So already we started actually in February with our first kind of like private party in Denver at ETH Denver. So we're everywhere. So if there's a wine conference happening, or if there's an Ether or Dev Connect in Amsterdam, for example, we'll be there. Paris Blockchain Week, Pro Wine, anything to do with Ether, blockchain, or wine, you will find us there doing really cool little private events with baller wines. Like this is all investment grade wines, really rare collectible wines that you just wouldn't really be able to buy. So we basically offer people access to these crazy events. We offer people access to super rare collectible wine offers for investment grade wines. And we offer people access to this incredible community of some of the top wine professionals in the world. So we've already got a number of MWs on board on the team, basically on every corner of the earth. We've got MWs on board already. And we've got Raj Par, for example. We did a little webinar with Raj Par last week, which was really cool. If you don't know who Raj Par is and you're interested in wine, then, oh my gosh, go Google him. He's a superstar. So yeah, I don't know if I'm rambling, but Club dVIN is basically just like a super incredible, very high-end wine club that uses blockchain to back it. And there's 3 different kinds of NFTs that are issued through Club dVIN. So the technology behind it is actually a lot more complicated than what I just explained, but we'll get into that as well. So yeah.
Do you want me to go to the membership right now? Like the 3 different membership that 3 different NFT that we're launching, or do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. So there's one membership and then there's 2 kinds of additional NFTs. So yeah, why don't you explain what those are, Dan? That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that I'm going to do as good as David that he's over here, but I'm going to try my best. So basically the first one is a membership NFT that is give you, as Jana said, access to different events around the world. It gives you concierge service that basically if you need help with anything related to wine, and it gives you access to a marketplace. That is where we are connecting the wineries to the final buyer, and then you can get all these crazy deals. The second NFT that we have is a digital core that basically serves as the digital bottle that's going to live in this Web3, and it's going to be the authenticity that you have this bottle. And lastly, we have the tasting tokens. That is the most exciting part about dVIN. That is basically a record of your tasting journey. And it's going to have crazy utility, such as you're going to be able to have more benefits. If you have different type of tasting tokens, you're going to be able to mint new memberships. And basically, those are the three main NFTs that we are launching. I don't know if I missed something, Jana.
No, so I would just say, I mean, so Digital Cork, for example, is any bottle of wine that's purchased on the dVIN platform. So when we talk about these exclusive wine offers that we're going to be doing with our partner winemakers, and these winemakers are some of the top winemakers on earth. So basically any bottle that's purchased on the dVIN platform will be attached to a digital cork, which is basically the digital twin to the physical object, right? So then what happens is when you consume that bottle of wine, and we have questions kind of about all of these things, and I think we're like just answering them a little bit all over the place right now, sorry. But as soon as you open a bottle of wine, it's gone, right? So you have an empty bottle and then you have burned that NFT. So I think before I continue explaining the digital cork, can you, Daniel or JD, just explain what minting and burning means in the world of NFTs, and then I'll move on.
Oh, perfect. JD.
Daniel.
Okay. Well, for minting is basically the first creation of that NFT that happened in the blockchain. So it's basically that, just creating a new NFT from that specific contract. That is minting. And the second, burning, is basically, as the name said, like you basically are burning, like that NFT are going to disappear from your wallet to receive a value in that exchange that you're doing. So in this case, you're burning your digital core to get the tasting tokens.
Right. So you're destroying that NFT. It's taken off the market. You can no longer sell it. And then what happens is you have still your tasting tokens that are released. So if you have a 750 milliliter bottle of wine, generally what happens is 12 tasting token NFTs, which are non-transferable NFTs. They're mostly just for collecting, but there is an incentive program behind it as well. Those tokens are then released, and it's a really cool process where you basically just scan the bottle, and then you get this QR code that you can pass to your friends, and they can scan the QR code, and immediately this tasting token that has all kinds of data about the wine, you can personalize it by putting in memories of where you drank the wine, who you were with, all this cool stuff. You can customize all your tasting tokens and then store them in your wallet and track your entire tasting journey. So these aren't NFTs that are worth something, like the digital cork NFT is worth something and you can trade it. Your membership NFT is worth something and you can trade it. But the tasting token NFT is something that you can collect, and it's more about preserving your experiences. And there's also an incentive to tasting tokens as well, which I think is really, really interesting. Basically, our partner wineries will be deciding. So it's up to the winery and kind of what they feel is cool for their customers or is cool for us, or however it will work. It'll be specific to the winemaker. But for example, if you were to collect a vertical of Petrus, if you have 5 Petrus tasting tokens, then could be that you're invited to the winery by the winemaker, right? For a private tasting. So it's stuff like this. So there will be incentives to collecting those tokens.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's going to be incentive to burn actually your digital core, because many people ask, like, okay, how can you control that if it's a physical asset related to a digital asset, how you can control if they don't try to cheat or something? But I think one of our founders, David, says something important, that we are offering more value in the tasting tokens than in the digital core itself, that people are not going to try to go in that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's an important question over here that I didn't know about this, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, no, maybe like 2 months ago, that what is an MW?
Master
Maybe
of Wine.
JD doesn't know what is that, but I think that Jana, she's the one that says it. Yeah.
Sometimes I lose touch of like what's normal language and what isn't. So MW is a Master of Wine. So we have Masters of Wine, which is the highest level. There's Master Sommeliers and there's Masters of Wine, and that's like the top of the top. Master Somms are a little more service oriented. Masters of Wine a little more academic, but the most qualified that you can be in wine. And we've got all kinds of them in our community, which is amazing. So if you check out our website, you'll see our community, our team, and it's ever growing, and it's very impressive, I have to say. I'm flattered to be on the list. So yeah. Okay, so let's move into the first question that we got from our community, because we got some really interesting questions. And I think that the funniest one, which I guess we've answered already, but I really just have to call it out in case Johannes Vasak is watching. I loved this. What's that? Was the question, with like a crying laugh face. And I was like, fair enough. What is it? Like, so I hope that we're covering that, and hopefully we already have covered most of it. We'll keep going with more details, but good question, Johannes. And then also Matthias B wrote, I don't understand NFTs and wine. What's the point? So hopefully we're also answering that for you, Matthias. Yeah. But it definitely had me scratching my head as well. I had the first call with our dVIN founders back in fall, and I was like, you're doing what? Why? Huh? But it's like an incredibly interesting project, and there's just so much potential here. So yeah, then let's move down. I'm just looking through our community questions. Do you guys want to ask one?
Yeah, and I want to start. Do you own any cryptocurrency, Jana?
Oh, yeah, I do. I've been into crypto because my brothers were always very interested in crypto. So since like 2015 or 2016, I've been
okay.
Yes, investing in crypto.
And do you own any NFT? Have you entered to the space yet or not?
No, so okay. I'm still quite new to the NFT thing. Like in crypto, I was like, yeah, I totally get it. And then I realized when I got into NFTs that I actually really didn't know anything about crypto, but now I do. I was just like investing in it because my brothers were like, do this. So fine. I have one tasting token NFT. So technically I minted my first NFT last week. Yeah.
Nice.
So like a proof of experience kind of thing, my bragging rights. Yes, I have one NFT.
Nice.
So we have one main question over here from our community that I asked you those two questions to go to this one specifically, like, because you understand about NFT in these last couple of weeks, and well, in crypto, you have been investing in the last couple of years. How could you make it more interested or more engaging, like the crypto and the NFT space?
Oh, well, hopefully conversations like this, but also, yeah, I just find it all still very obscure. So I think we have to make it more user-friendly and less intimidating, which is interesting because I kind of feel the same thing about the wine business still. Sometimes it can just be so overwhelming and you feel like you're afraid to even ask a question. So it's interesting that the worlds of crypto and wine are merging here, because it's two very complex topics that I'm always like, I'm a wine professional and I still get nervous in a room with certain people because I'm like, what if they ask me that? Like, do you know what I mean? And it's the same with crypto. And so I just think it has to become a little more mainstream, and we're on the way. I mean, Club dVIN is going to make it really easy for people. And I think that that's like kind of what you said earlier, JD, about reaching that point where people are actually like interacting with crypto with NFTs or with blockchain without even really realizing that they're doing it. So just, I don't know. I hope I answered that.
That was a really good answer. When,
cool.
Yeah, I was gonna add that in the end, NFTs are a vehicle of value, like the internet, like all these technologies. So we need to make it as user-friendly as possible to make it,
totally
as adapted. But yeah.
Yeah, and we're working right now behind the scenes in dVIN to just like perfect the flow of the website and to perfect the flow of the app. And there's just so many things that we're running into where it's like, wait a minute, like, do we have tunnel vision right now? Because we all are more familiar with things and like with crypto and everything. How would somebody who knows nothing about this see it? And that's where we're trying to really like go back and say, okay, like, I don't know. I don't want to, I know my mom's not watching because she's in Dubai and it's late there, but I don't want to use her as an example when she's not there to like stick up for herself. But I know if my mom would like come onto that app, she could use it. And that's the goal, right? Like it should be super user friendly because my mom has computers and never remembers her passwords for things. And so, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I think that the way that dVIN is doing it for how the minting process is incredible. And when we launch our project, like we have this barrier, like we say, okay, connect your wallet in the website. But before you connect your wallet, you have so many steps like buying crypto. And for buy crypto, you have to open an account in an exchange. So it's like so many ledgers. But with the dVIN, I think that we can go how is the minting process. Like if you're a blockchain native, like the same as any other minting process, you connect your wallet. But the cool idea about dVIN is that you're able to plug your socials, and that actually is going to create an account like directly, and you're going to be able to pay and buy the membership with your credit card. So I think that's crazy. That's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're playing as well with like, if you come onto the app and if you don't have a wallet, like no problem, just sign in with social and we'll create a wallet for you in less than a minute and you're all set. Like you don't have to do any of that. And the fact that you can pay with US dollars on a credit card, that's going to happen. We're doing that though, only for waitlist right now. So we'll see if we keep that, but right now, if you're on the wait list and you do want to buy your membership on April 2nd, which I highly recommend because it's 50% off and you're in early, but you can also buy with a credit card.
Only two per wallet. That's important.
So anyway, we're trying to make it really easy and seamless because for us, it's a wine club. We're trying to attract wine people, right? So we want people who are interested in attending these events and everything and adding value to the community themselves. And if we're deterring people by the first thing on the website says NFT and it's like, I don't know what that is, so buy. Like, no, it's so cool. Like, wait. So lots of reasons to get to the next page of the website. But cool. So we talked a little bit about how you could explain blockchain technology in a simple way. I don't really know that we have to get too much further into that. I'm just thinking here. I'm looking at some of the community questions that we might have already answered.
So, well, maybe I can ask another question from our community that if you don't know anything about wine, do you think that dVIN is a good start or not?
Absolutely. Like, as long as you're passionate about wanting to know about wine, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I think the answer is a definite yes, like in my opinion, because I would way rather share a bottle of wine with someone who doesn't even know what Cabernet Sauvignon is than like because the space in the community is limited, right? Like there's only so many memberships. So I would much rather have a community full of people, even like who really don't even know what that is, who don't even know what Cabernet Sauvignon is, for example, then have a bunch of people who buy memberships and then don't attend the events and just hope to make a potential profit. You know, it's more interesting to have people who are interested in wine. So absolutely. And if you think about our community and our team, everyone who's behind it, what better place to learn about wine than from the top experts in the world? Like,
that's true.
Right. So
I think that's one of the favorite things about your value proposition, that it opens up the wine world to more people. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have, for example, if you have like a couple, right, and maybe one person is really into wine and the other person isn't really, like, we don't want to be one of those clubs where someone comes in and feels uncomfortable. It's like, no, this is fun. This is cool. Like, you know, one of the events we're doing this summer is going to be a harvest in the Himalayas. Like it's a party. Like, come, we're going to open amazing wines and harvest in Bhutan. Like, this doesn't happen. That's never happened on Earth before. Like, there are no vineyards in Bhutan that have ever been harvested. This is a new project and it's the first official harvest. Like, we're doing stuff like that.
That's insane.
Cool. Yeah. So okay, cool. Let me ask you guys something. How do you see the future of NFTs?
That's a JD question.
Well, as we said, I think the technology has to become seamless. It needs to be adopted by every industry. I think this is as revolutionary as the internet. So yeah, I've been more focused into Latin America because we saw a lot of opportunity here. But I think for creators, for projects like yours that wants to bring value through a real business, through a real, value proposition, I think it's going to be insanely adopted and it's going to change a lot of the dynamics.
Yeah, and it's going to change a lot of industries, like the same for wine, for example. I was asking David right now, how do you sell a collectible bottle of wine? It's basically you go to an auction, 95% of the bottle sells that way. But what happens if you add the digital core? Like, you're going to be able to trade your bottles with another person. So the market is going to decide actually what is the value of that specific bottle. As we trade, for example, the apes, that is not happening. Like, you trade one bottle for another one. It's usually you're selling it for dollars, but in this case, you're opening a new totally market. So
and it opens the products to a global market as well. Like, not only people who are invited to the auction are allowed to, participate in, but now you can sell it anywhere in the world. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And like seamless, right? Everything is transparent. It's like, how fast is it? Like, is it basically like instant?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it depends on the network, but yeah, it's pretty fast.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
I'm going to go to a question to you, or do you want to ask, Jana?
Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So I'm getting this question. So how can wineries use NFT as a new opportunities?
Oh, okay. I saw that question. That's from Weingut Preetz. So I don't know if you guys are watching, but there's a number of business opportunities. And there was actually a good example on the webinar we did last week with Raj Par. So maybe we'll share the link with you if you want to see that. But those are business opportunities that are kind of separate from what dVIN is solving for the wineries that we're partnering with. But the fundamentals that are built in are authenticity, commerce, insight, and then community incentives. So for authenticity, people will know that it's your wine because the bottles are sold through the dVIN platform and verified and authenticated, because they're either sourced directly from the wine estates themselves, or they're sourced from pristine cellars. Or we're also actually talking right now about bringing in third-party authenticators. So we've been talking to Sotheby's. So everything will be very, very transparent. So that's a good thing for the winery. Authenticity, commerce, you can control the price if you sell it directly. And one of the things we haven't talked about with NFTs yet is royalties, because NFTs, right? It was started with art, and it was all about supporting the artist, supporting the creator. And in this case, this is the first time ever that the winemaker actually benefits from the value they create in aftermarket sales with royalties. That is so cool. So that's like I think that's the coolest thing for the winemakers. One of the coolest things. The other thing is insight, CRM. So client relationship management, through the digital Cork. When you burn that NFT, producers can learn where are their bottles going? How far are they traveling? How long are people aging them? What is their customer base? So there's a lot of insight to gain with that. And also through tasting tokens, right? Because tasting tokens are then distributed from someone who's interested in your wine. That's a customer for you. And then you're sharing these tasting tokens with the people that drink wine with that person, who likely have the same taste in wine or have been impressed by experiencing that bottle. And so you're also learning about potential customers. So there's a lot that's interesting in terms of data there for the winemaker. And then we talked a little bit about the tasting token and that incentive program, where partner winemakers or partner producers or wineries will be able to incentivize the communities, right? So by inviting people that love your wine, and you can say, hey, you know what? You had 5 of our bottles last year. Why don't you come in, have a tasting at our winery? Like, you're invited. And some of these wineries, like, you don't get in the door there. So that invite is super valuable. And you don't necessarily have to be a dVIN member yet to get that invite if you're collecting tasting tokens, right?
Sure.
The other thing with tasting tokens too, because I saw somebody in the Q&A ask to explain that a little more. So I hope that I just did add a little bit more insight into that topic. But the other thing about tasting tokens is there will be and I'm not 100% sure if this is confirmed, but there may be the option to mint a membership if you have a tasting token. So that is to be determined, I believe. And I know one of our founders, David, is watching. So Dave, can you give us like a thumbs up or a thumbs down if that's a thing?
I want to add something. Like the good part about NFTs, like it's a not ended product. Like the good thing about that is like with the tasting tokens, we are going to realize what the community is asking for, and then we can start adding that specific value that they are looking for in the tasting token. So that can change. Like maybe it's about minting new membership, but then in 2 months, like our community is asking for, as you said, like just experiences with the wineries, and that's what we are going to give them. Like it's really important to understand like more about the metrics that we usually handle with communities, that is engagement and those regular metrics. For the communities in the NFT space, it's more about like feelings, like if the emotions, that if they feel happy with the value that they're receiving, is a more like inclusive membership that they can actually add value as well, like with their opinions, with their thoughts, like how we can take these tasting tokens to the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Totally.
That's true.
Good. All right. Okay, I've got a question from, this one came through my Instagram, I believe. Vibes for Happiness asks, how can we prevent rare wines from skyrocketing through NFT speculators?
I mean, I don't know if there's a way to prevent that, but the cool thing about NFTs is that they get value through an open market. So if the market decides that that's the fair value for an asset, it's not a speculation because these bottles have intrinsic value behind it. You know, it's not like these communities or these projects that it's all about hype. Here you're getting a physical object, so it gets the price that it deserves.
Yeah, and you said before, like it's more globally, so it's not gonna be just the people like buying a bottle in an audition, an option. It's more about like if you get more people, like it's gonna get a more fair price because you're gonna get more supply and demand. So it's gonna I think in my guess is gonna be like the bottles actually through the NFT are getting more fair price than they're having right now.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right.
So, okay, let's ask you a question that we received from our community.
This is a good little match of ping pong here.
Yeah. I just wanted to add a little bit about the value for the winemakers. Something that winemakers do nowadays is that they create memberships, right? Where you receive certain amount of wine, special offers and whatnot. Yeah. For example, something that a lot of organizations are doing it's creating like these special NFTs, like passes or something. I don't know if you saw that Coachella, they created the 10 NFTs.
No way.
They auction it, and the value proposition was pretty cool. They grant you access to all of their physical events and metaverse events for life.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was super cool. So you can play with it. NFTs are really flexible because, as Daniel said, the value proposition is open. You can add anything your public wants, so you can get pretty creative. And nowadays, it's a pretty good marketing strategy as well, if you get into that early.
I think that's so cool because a lot of people think of an NFT and they think like with the basic knowledge of an NFT, I think a lot of people think, okay, so it's like, this is my piece of artwork. Maybe it's like a generative piece of artwork or something, and I own it, and this is their certificate, and it's on the blockchain, and it's transparent, and it's immutable, and and that's it. And it can like increase in value, and I can trade it and whatever. But the other side of NFTs is the utility NFTs, which is like our membership NFT. And that's so interesting. It's such a cool example. So I think a lot of people just think of this as like a little bit more black and white, but there's so much you can do with it. The potential is enormous. So yeah, very cool.
Okay, the question that we have is how to earn it. What are the perspective and competition?
This was also through my Instagram. This was Olga Who Dares asked me this. Olga, I'm going to have to repeat the disclaimer, girl, because we are not financial advisors. This was not set up as a financial vehicle, and we are not giving investment advice. Okay, Olga, got it? So, okay, like a lot of membership NFTs, we expect them to grow in value as things begin to roll out. So, you know, we're doing those really cool events. And as soon as there's like more noise, of course, we suspect that the value behind the membership grows because there's a limited number of them and people want in. So it's like, if you think about the cult wineries in California, for example, like Harlem Estate or Screaming Eagle, I mean, these memberships, you're on a wait list for like 10 to 12 years. It's not something that you just, I mean, for a lot of people, it's not something that you just sell on the secondary market, for example, right? Like you would with an NFT. These are things that are like so valuable, you hand them down for generations. And that's kind of the idea of what we want to create here. More than just a wine club. So yeah. And then, I mean, yeah, I'm just looking at, I have notes for this one. Okay. So I'm reading a little, just so you guys know, in case it's obvious. Yeah, no, actually, I think I covered it. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was that it's a one-time fee for our membership, whereas a lot of wine clubs will have like a yearly fee paying every year. For us, it's a one-time fee. And you've got it for life. So that's pretty sweet, and maybe a reason to buy two.
Exactly. And
buy two for one wallet.
and besides that, it's that the membership, it's an asset, you know, you can sell
totally.
it afterwards. And something that I look into the projects nowadays, it's that people don't realize that NFTs are just a vehicle of value, that you need a solid team, a solid value proposition. And I think you guys have that. So me as an investor, I feel comfortable with your project. I'm really excited about it, actually. So yeah, congrats on that one. And
Thanks.
But yeah.
Actually, the way that JD and I, when we invest in new projects, like we did the same with Bored Apes and Be Friends, is like the good part, like we see different, like when you're investing in a different market, is like in this one, as I said before, like the founders always can add value. It's a not ended product. So you just need to find the right team, and maybe not today, but in a year, in 2 or 5 years, they're going to be able to deliver value, because that's the research that you have to do. But always there's going to be a new value proposition for that team. So the only thing that you need to know is that it's a trusted team and someone that can add value to something, and then you're set up. Like,
yes. And something cool is that when you bring people, not because of the money, but because of something they love and they share a vision, the community helps the project to grow really fast. That happened with the apes. I mean, like the founders are really important, but the community is really important as well. So I think you have a pretty cool formula to make it work.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's cool. Like, so we're in our startup phase, right? We're really looking forward to the waitlist launch on April 2nd. But it's just been such a cool journey for me. I mean, I've learned so much as a wine person. But it's like, we're on Discord. We've got all the experts. Like, I think a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, we had 5 or 6 super impressive wine experts on Discord, like chatting, like just in the chat. Anybody can come in there and ask questions. Like, we're really building an active community. I think there's a huge amount of value in that alone. And the cool thing is, like, if you just join our Discord, for example, you don't even have to buy a membership. Like, you can just come in and chat. It's pretty open. So I think that I don't know. I think that it's a really interesting and inclusive community in that sense. So yeah.
Totally.
Well, congrats.
Thanks. And guys, follow us on Discord and social media. I'm in charge of content. So come on, guys, like our stuff. All right. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Let me see. Oh, right. Cool. This was a comment that came also through Instagram from an account called justjb.eth. What a cool address. Okay. I've been watching the conversation here and on Discord, really excited about this project. My big question is, how do you combat fraud? Da-dum. Couldn't a bottle be consumed without opening it? Okay, I think we can answer this one together. Do you guys want to take a stab at it?
Can you say it again?
Yeah, so basically the question is, how do you combat fraud? Especially when it's a consumable product, right? couldn't a bottle be consumed without opening it? So I think they mean like if the bottle is consumed and the NFT is not burned.
Yeah. Well, I think that as in any industry, there's always gonna be at least one time or one way that you can do it. But as David said, like the value, first of all, we can track which bottle at what specific moment was fraud, what that happened. So the name of that person that is going to be online. And the second thing is the value that we are offering for the tasting token is going to be greater, and that is the thing that we are trying to do. Not try to punish somebody. It's not just that they do it like for their
because they have to. It's because they want to.
Yeah,
because the value proposition is greater.
It's greater than that.
I think that's a smart way to do it, like giving people more so they feel incentive, or they feel, like it's the smart move.
Yeah. And I think if you trade the NFT without the bottle, it's pretty obvious. But so basically, like I was talking to David and Badad, our two founders today, and we were discussing this, and Badad had a really good point. He was like, well, if somebody wants to do that like one time, they might get away with it, but probably not. And then if somebody wants to do that, they're obviously trying to make money, right? So it's going to be like a pattern. And then there's a common denominator. It's transparent, it's immutable. We can see who you are. And it happened here, and here. Well, busted. So that's the beauty of the blockchain, right? And I think that Club dVIN is working on fraud prevention in so many ways. But a lot of work is being done with like NFCs, with tamper-proof corks. But yeah, the direct contribution is the focus on transparency. And then there's another question attached to the justjb.eth, and it's how will you handle hacks in the space if someone gets their wallet drained? And I was just actually writing this up for our website, because this is you can't lose any of your NFTs from Club dVIN. So if your wallet is compromised and you had crypto in there and that's gone, of course we can't help you there. But every single one of the 3 kinds of NFTs that we issue, they're connected to your ID on our end, right? So if you lose it, or if someone steals your wallet and then they have it, we'll just destroy it on our end and reissue it to you. So there's no risk of you losing your NFTs with Club dVIN. Everything is safe there.
So cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And actually, well, as the tasting token, for example, you're not able to sell it, so there's not an incentive behind that. It's just a certificate of your track of tastes. So
exactly,
they're not incentive for that. Yeah.
Except for the bragging rights on social media, because yeah. Okay, so yeah.
I'm reading the questions and the Q&A that we have over here. Maybe we can try to answer some of that.
Sure.
There's one, I think that JD explained that in the past, but maybe you can go to that again. That is, what is the difference about these NFT memberships than the regular memberships that a brand or organization will sell?
Well, I think the main thing is, as the wine girl said, that this membership can have royalties in it, and they can go to secondary markets. So it's an incentive for the creator to add more value through time. So the asset gains value and they make more money. So I think it's a really cool model, because it's a win-win situation between creators and holders, because they both want the same thing. So
yeah, sure. And as you said, like in this case, the membership actually is an asset that you actually can sell in the secondary market. So if the founders are receiving royalties, are receiving more revenue stream, they can add more value, and then your membership is going to increase in the secondary market, and then you can resell it. Like that is not happening with, I don't know, Amazon Prime. That, I mean, after you cannot be part of that. You are not able to sell in the secondary market because actually it's not yours.
Exactly.
I just saw that that Fabrizio Di Carlo says the Discord link on the website has expired. Very sorry about that. We are going to fix that right away, and I will just put a new link here for you. All right, there you go. Cool. All right. So I'm just closing Discord because I can't see you guys anymore. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Oh, and Dave also answered when we were talking earlier about tasting tokens coming with the possibility to mint a new membership. He says, yes, it's true, but with planned scarcity. So of course that's important because we want to keep the number of memberships limited.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome. So I'm just going to put that Discord link also in our main chat. If anybody wants to check out our Discord, this link will never expire. There we go. Okay. We've got 10 minutes left and we've just got a couple more questions. Actually, we've got one more question. And that is, how can people protect their crypto wallets?
Okay. I think something really cool about this industry is that it's transparent. It gives all the rights to hold your own assets, but it gives you all the responsibility as well. So you need to enter this space pretty, not carefully, but how can I say it?
Skeptical.
No, conscious about the risks and the responsibility that is up to you. So you gotta educate yourself. For example, having a cold wallet, a hard wallet, ledger, I think it's something really important for anyone who wants to get into this space seriously. So learning about those concepts, learning about how the transactions work, how the blockchain work, I think it's step one.
No.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Cold wallet, hard wallet.
Yeah, I wanna go with that. Is just to give a little bit about the difference between wallets. So basically, a wallet, you're gonna have in MetaMask, in decentralized wallets, you're gonna have a password that is in the MetaMask, but actually the real secure value for your wallet is your key phrase.
Seed phrase.
Your key phrase, so both the same. So basically give you a random words like 12 or 24, depending on the type of wallet that you're using. But that is your key for your wallet, basically. If you lose your computer, you can put in a different computer, it's gonna open your wallet. So when JD was talking about cold wallet or a wallet that you get from Coinbase, is basically the key from Coinbase, they have it. They're able to do transactions, or it's not you're 100% decentralized, is centralized in that specific platform, right? Mm-hmm. Right, in a cold wallet that is, or hard wallet, is basically you are the owner of that key, you're the only one who see it. And for that call that is different from MetaMask that is in your computer, that key never went to internet. So you're gonna be able to copy in a piece of paper, and then you have to save it in your house. If you lose it, you lose all your assets. So you need to be careful with that specifically. I don't know if JD want to add something.
Yeah, when I said hard wallet, I was talking about ledger specifically. It's like an USB, okay? That you know that when you make a transaction on Ethereum or MetaMask, you gotta sign the transaction, so it happens. The only difference with this kind of equipment is that the sign, it's physical. You gotta press buttons. So if someone hacks your computer, they're not gonna be able to transfer your assets.
Yeah, and actually in MetaMask, you can see your phrase and they can see in the computer. So if they hack it, they have all your information. In that specific case, it's just physical, as JD said, like you need to press it, and your C phrase never went to internet. So it's the safest way.
And you know, the best practice in crypto to do it that way, like not connect your wallet to any random sites. Like there's a steep learning curve on how to keep your assets safe, but it's not super hard either. You just gotta get into it, read a little bit and get used to it. So yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify because Alex wrote in the chat that it got a little mixed up. So the hot one is the online one, and the cold ones are the USB ledgers, not connected to the internet. That's what I understood as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Also, we have one comment here. Most important question: how do we get into the waitlist? That is an important question. Agreed. If you want to send us a DM on any of our social platforms, We'll just take a look and see if we've still got space left, and we will send you a code because it's friends and family, and you guys, you can all of you can do that. We've also got a Discord channel that's called Waitlist. So if you just go in there and let us know that you're interested, we'll do our best to generate some codes for you guys. Thank you for listening. That is our gift to you.
So cool.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys all so much for showing up. Yeah, and I hope that we were able to spark your curiosity. And I just want to remind you guys all, webinar is happening on March 31st with all 3 of the founders. And that is going to be open for everybody. So the registration link is going to be on all of our social platforms. So if you want to go and check that out, it's going to be the last opportunity to have questions answered by the founders themselves before the April 2nd waitlist launch. So it's going to be a really, really good chance to get everything you want to know in one shot. All right. Cool.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jana. Thank you so much.
JD. So cool. And you guys keep traveling safe. Hey, you're all over the place. I'm jealous. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Ciao.